regular 25 cuckoo clock. First step, normally in taking these apart, take the hands off, but they're already off and they're in a bag here. And then what we got to do is, well, we need a couple of first thing to do is to take the hooks off, the chains. That's what that does, is allows me then to pull them out of the case. Stand them up. Pull one chain out. Oof. Wonderful. That one's tangled inside. Okay. Set those aside. Next thing to do is open the door and undo the wire that holds the bird. Just bend it at a 90-degree angle. Pull it out of the door. Whew. Man, something really gummy in there. I think somebody tried to grease this or something. That should never have any oil or grease put on it. I shut the door. Alright. Inside, there are 4 screws that hold the case, or hold the movement to the case. We want to take those out. Happened to that. Chain. Oh, there it is. Gets snagged. Alrighty. There's the screws.
Okay, go on. Back to Nolan's and we can work these. He can go in and take him to his tournament. I'm guessing I won't be home before 7 or 7:30.
Alright, here we get some idea what's wrong with this one. It's all gummed up with oil. Somebody squirted this with oil. It's really kind of nasty. Video doesn't do it any. Doesn't really show you what it's really like. Let's take the bird off. There's just a screw that holds him on. Loosen it. It slides off the post. That one definitely needs to be degreased. And then if we look inside, you can see the same problem we find in other cuckoo clocks. All kinds of debris accumulates. And what you need to be aware of is when you get oil on things, the debris builds up even worse. So, and there's the kind of stuff that gets inside of. I wonder why the poor cuckoo clocks don't work. They can really take a beating. Have animals, the hair gets all over everything. I gotta change my glasses. Lots of goop in here. I don't think I'm going to try to sit here and pull that all out. The easiest way to do this is just take it apart and go from there. Typical. Can't tell anything here. Oh, yeah, I can. Look at the second wheel here. Oh. You'll be able to see it jumping around. Let's see if I can just wipe some of that away. Let's see what we got going here. Alrighty. Now let's see. Yeah, look at that second wheel. That pivot, jumping around like a rat tail in a rain barrel. That's the kind of wear that keeps the clock from working. And no amount of oiling is going to keep it working. Yeah, that's going to have to be rebushed too. The escape gear is pretty loose. I'll bet the second wheel over here is bad too. Yeah. That's the kind of wear you gotta repair. Yeah, watch the gathering pallet. I moved the main wheel. I'll show you how much that's worn. Yeah, pretty badly worn. Okay. Well, I'll start out. Let's see what we got. Take this spring off. Spring tighten on that. Okay. And once that's out, and the way these are removed is here's a little slot in the edge of the plate. If you rotate these backwards, then there's a pin that keeps it from coming out. Will come through that slot, and the whole thing just slides right out. Then we take out the two levers for the cuckoo. Same way, rotate them around, slide them out the slot, rotate around, out the slot. If I can see it to line it up. There we go. Okay. Let's take off the lift. This is the wheel that lifts the cuckoo bellow links. Okay. Okay. Now let's take off the pendulum leader. That's just a little loop that has to be just slightly undone so that it unhooks here. And then we can take it out this way. Okay. And then actually this unscrews so we can take that post off. Alright. Now we gotta start with the front. There, we get a little squirrel nest in here. Now if you look, see all these surfaces, how they're covered with grime? That's what happens when you oil anything but the pivots. Don't ever put oil on a movement except on the ends of the arbors or the pivots rotate. And certainly not on any of these levers, because they'll just gum those up. I'll off my fingers here. Okay, now we start taking other parts off, like the rack. It's got a C-clip. I probably won't be able to get that off until I get the snail off. There's a C-clip in here that holds the intermediate wheel. That C-clip and that washer, and then the snail and the that almost won't come off. It's so sticky. Okay, snail comes off, rack comes off, the intermediate wheel comes off. Okay, now these two levers, unfortunately, are held on from the back by these compression clips. I got a little tiny screwdriver underneath an edge, and I can kind of keep that lever tight against there. Front, back, and I kind of walk it off, I think. When it pops off, it's going to fly anyway. Oh, it did finally come off. Now, with that removed, I can't get it out. Yes, I can. This lever now will come out like so. You see where that ring was. Alright, now we got to get this one off. I'm going to have the same problem. And once I got it a little further out, I'm able to grab a hold of one of the little legs and just... I want to grab both legs or squeeze it together tighter. And just wiggle it. Now finally. That allows, now this particular lever has a spring here. Oh, we don't want to lose that. I hate making those. Okay. And this lever can come off. Okay. And now we've got gathering pallet. You can get the gathering pallet with a couple of screwdrivers. Crow's foot worked. Okay. Here's the mechanism that keeps the bird door open. Instead of this flopping back and forth. That locks it in. Then when it's done cuckooing, there's a little mechanism to bang on this just enough that loosens that up. It's all gummed up right now. 4 nuts to take off. Greasy. Okie dokie. 4 nuts. And now we're going to separate the plates. Like so. And here's what comes out. Now one of the things I'm really interested in, of course, is the pallets. Let's see what's in those. Yeah, a little bit of a groove worn in that. Polish that out. Okay, let's take a look. Right. This is the gear from the time side. Put this light up here a little better. I clean this stuff. I don't want to get that in my clock cleaner. Okay, so that's time side. This is what runs against the center wheel. And this one is the strike side, cuckoo side. What we should do is, okay. Click is working on it, so. That's fine. Let's see what the click is doing on the other one. Yeah, it's working too. I'm going backwards. We'll check that one out later. And on the times or strike side, here's that gear that had the gathering pallet on it, and this is the little cams that operate the parts that keep the door open, keep the bird out when it's cuckooing. And you can see you saw why it's difficult to have a camera when you're working. It just knocked the whole thing over. Okay, anyway, what kinds of gunk we got to get out of here? And that's on the strike side. There's this little guy. Keeps the door open. Here's the governor. And here is the warning wheel. Here's the pin that sometimes gets bent. That's what stops things. And on the run side, this is the escape wheel. All this gunk becomes a magnet. It becomes a magnet for this gunk when you put oil all over the movement. You just cannot do that. Don't oil anything but the pivots, because otherwise any hair floating around, if you have a cat or a dog, every hair is going to get stuck to the movement. Out of there. Don't want to get that in my clock cleaning solution. I'll just gum it all up. Put that down. And here you see. The other thing for cuckoo clocks, good idea not to have them in the kitchen, or they collect cooking grease and get gummed up. Okay, and the second wheel. This is what I'm Can't believe how many people will tell you, well, my clock quit working, and it made it work just fine for many years. I just sprayed it with WD-40. I just sprayed it with whatever oil I happen to have. Yep, make it work for a while. Then it starts attracting all this stuff. And it wears out all the gears. Okay, now this part, this can come out. This is the little lever that catches that hooks on that, keep the door open. There's an E-clip here. Okay, now I have to evaluate this later. This is really not something you want to take off if you can avoid it. If you have to bush the center wheel. And you got to take them out, but this is a press fit here. This is a press fit here. So to get either side off, this spring acts as a clutch so that you can turn the hands without turning the gear, without interfering with the train. These are the two cams that lift the lever on the hour and the half hour. If you look closely, you can see that this one is longer than this one. This one doesn't lift the cuckooing mechanism as high as this one does. So this one is the hour, and this is a half hour. This will lift just enough that it'll allow one tooth on the rack to be released to strike once at the half hour. This one lifts far enough that it lets the rack fall all the way down till the rack tail falls on the snail at a given hour, and allows it to strike that many hours. Okay, so we got two plates here now, and I don't like taking this out either. Let me back off here. This is the perch. On some of the older cuckoo clocks, these are put on with screws, so I can remove this whole piece. But in this case, these are riveted on, and then they're squeezed together to keep this on here. To take this off, you have to spread these two tangs apart, and every time they get spread apart, to snap these out, it fatigues the metal and eventually they'll break off. So it's a good idea not to take those off unless it's absolutely necessary. But you can see the kind of oil that's all over this. So what we're going to do now is just going to take this and we're going to put it into the ultrasonic cleaner. And we're going to clean these parts. And that's just, got to wipe this grease off. There's no sense putting that into the cleaner. Let's wipe them down. Alright, we'll get back at this in a minute. Okay, so just wiping this all down gets a lot of that gunk off before I even put it in the ultrasonic, so I don't contaminate the cleaner so bad. And So you clean these. Let me just show you why you really need to take a clock apart to clean it. These are pivot holes. If you have a pivot that stays in there, you're not going to get what's inside those things. And I don't care how hard you try, you're not going to get the stuff out. There's what's inside that pivot. And you can't get that by cleaning the clock with it back together. Even with an ultrasonic cleaner, you need to let the washing material get in there, the cleaner get in there. Then after it's all done, you'll peg out everything with wood like this. Clean them all up. Get all of that stuff out of there. So, I'm going to do a wipe down on these plates. See that gook there? Now let me show you this. I'm going to take that dirt off of there. This is the escape wheel pivot. And I need to get the dirt out of there. You'll be able to see it. Now on this one, you can actually see. Oh, where'd he go? There he is. The oval. You can see the unworn part of the hole up here. It's rounded. The worn part of the hole is down here. And you see it's a little smaller. Just the size of the pivot. Pivot is eating into that brass. So what we have to do, eventually if that keeps wearing, then the gears get closer and closer together until they bind up. The gears don't mesh anymore. So we have to drill those out and make that hole round again. So some of these you can really see where they're worn. Anyway, we'll wipe all this off, and we'll wipe off the other parts, and then we'll stick them in the ultrasonic cleaner. Then we're going to come back here, and we're going to put these all back together again. Or they're going to put one train at a time in here. See exactly where the wear is, and which pivots we're going to have to, pivot holes we're going to have to rebush. But I want to get as much of this grease and oil off of here as I can. It contaminates the cleaning fluid otherwise. At $35 to $40 a gallon. Cleaning solution lasts longer if you don't put a whole lot of dirt in it. It can get pretty expensive if you don't use it wisely. Okay, that's looking quite a bit better. Just getting all that off of there. It'll clean up a lot nicer. Okay, I have a real fine sieve here. What I'm going to do is dump everything in there, including the E-clips, because they're all greasy. I'm just going to dump it in there. Chains, everything. And then we'll put these two in here. And we're going to put those in the ultrasonic. And we're going to let it cook. That's this little guy. Let that clean. Okay, while that's cleaning, I've been working on this clock case. Problem is, that movement was sprayed. It was sprayed inside the clock, and the oil was all over in here too, in the wood. I sprayed it with some Mr. Clean and wiped it out. There's oil that's contaminating the holes in the bottom. I'm going to see what I can do to clean that up. Let's see. Maybe the best thing to use there would be a step drill. It's taking a step drill, putting it up in here, and scraping that out. Clean. It's like wax in there or something. It's just really nasty. I think somebody put some grease in the holes. Yeah, it seems to be cleaning them out pretty good. We'll take it and we'll let it dry. After everything completely dries, then see about putting some linseed oil on the inside of this. That hole. That looks a lot better. A lot better. Okay. Okay, I pulled the pins out of there. Tried cleaning it while it was still in place, but there's just too much gunk on this. And so I gotta clean these off so the hinges work well. Grease or wax was put on this. This makes a mess. Clean them off. Okay. Whatever that is, that's what's inside on the wood. Ultrasonic is done. That's caked in there. Take a brush. Let this dry for a while. Whew. Let's see how they just clean everything you can get out of there. All the dust, all the dirt. Scrape the wood. There's a waxy substance in here. Okay. Just gotta cut the oil off of that. Alright, okay, it's out of the ultrasonic. Plates look a whole lot better. And still need some cleaning to get the tarnish off of them. But look at some of this stuff. It's unbelievable. He's going to require some major cleaning. Still stuff in there that I can't get out. I'm going to have to use a probe to get in there and pull all that gunk out of there. But all this has to be dried, separated. Birdie looks a lot better. All these things look like a lot better. Escape gear. These wheels, the junk down inside the wheels, what I got to get out of there. A lot of hand cleaning now yet to do. See down on each one of these, look at it. Feel like a dental hygienist. This ultrasonic softens that stuff up so I can get it out. That looks pretty good. We're getting it. Okay, here's the wheel now after cleaning. That looks a little better. Okay, while cleaning this wheel, I found some damage that I hope I can repair. If I can't, I'm probably going to have to buy a new wheel. We'll have to see. Anyway, looking after I clean this all up, looking this over, this plastic wheel here has got a crack in it. Right there. And maybe they can be repaired with some epoxy, particularly made for plastics. See if I can get it repaired. If I can't, why? Then the only alternative is going to be to get a new wheel. So we'll see once we get start putting things back together. Yeah, it's loose on there. I can feel it. It's not tight. It slips. And I don't think that's supposed to slip. We'll have to see. Let's see what I can do. Okay. Okay, before I search for a replacement for this, because this plastic wheel was cracked, I've tried epoxy gluing it back together and onto the arbor. It's tight and doesn't seem to have any problem. You see the crack in the wheel was right here, and this epoxy is put on there. It still has to be cleaned up, but before I do anything else, what I need to do right now is see if it will run smoothly, because this plastic gear runs against the center gear keep the time running. So I put this gear in here and then put the plate back on. Back this off. Then we put the plate back on. And we put this in there. Let's put a couple of nuts on here to hold everything tight. Because even though that was epoxy, there's a gap that filled up, and that's going to change the way the teeth operate. So let's just see how it works. I'll come back in here a little bit, and this is before we've bushed anything, and I realize that there's an issue over on this bushing that is affecting some of the meshing of the gears. Let's go back and look and see. Alright, that's smooth. Feels very smooth. Oh, I get here, now I'm snagged. I feel the gears are snagged. It won't run past that point. And if I look, yeah, that's right where the crack is. So let's go back the other way. Gears are running till we get to this point, and it's clashing again. That's right where that crack is. Now when I look, I can see that that's going to cause simply are not going to want to go together. Let me see if I can use a file on it to correct the mismatch. If I can't, yeah, see it snags every time we get to that cracked area. Alright, I'll try filing it and see if we can correct it. Okay, did a little filing, fine sandpaper work. I had to file the backs of 2 teeth, narrow them up a little bit to make the teeth mesh smoothly. If they're going to work. So let's see what we got here now. Okay. What's the wrong way? This is the way it would run. And it appears to run smoothly. And see if I push a little weight against it. It still runs smoothly. Yes, it does. Okay, I think we can make that work now. Just had to reshape a couple teeth. The teeth on either side of that crack. And see if I turn it upside down. Run smoothly that way. And make sure I'm running it in the right direction. Yeah, I don't feel any. I can't detect. I could feel the crack before as it ran over. No, I can't feel it at all. I think that'll work. I really feel more comfortable replacing the gear. I'll have to check it. Unavailability. See if I have one, and not too expensive. I mean, if they're charging $10, $12 for it, it's not worth it. And there's where the gear is now. I mean, that's where the crack is. Right there. I think you can see it. And I don't see any roughness at all. That ought to work. Okay. Okay, I have the 3 time gears back in there now. what I want to do. Right now it feels like it's locked up. I can already see why. Because the escape gear, it's the wrong direction. No question about why. You can see how badly worn that is. I don't even have to move it. That's pretty bad. I have to actually grab, it's actually wedging in the worn spot. You can see how badly worn that escape gear pinion pivot is. So when it's down in that worn spot, there's so much friction there. It's jamming up the gears. It doesn't want to turn. It's very rough on the run side. Why the cuckoo clock doesn't run is that pivot gets down in there. I mean, that's kind of where we're looking at. So we got to replace that. It's a beautiful time for me to show something on that, though. A lot of times it's difficult for people to understand what actually happens when a pivot wears. The things that happens when the pivot hole is new, there's a very small space around the pivot and the pivot hole. But as it wears, let's get these gears out of here. Okay. As it wears, the spot where it wears actually gets to be somewhat narrower. It's just about the size of the pivot. And so it kind of wedges. You can see that egg-shaped. See how it looks on the other side. Yeah, you can see how egg-shaped that thing is. And since these don't have oil cups to speak of, you really can't see too well. Yeah, maybe you can a little bit. See on the bottom of the hole, see how there's no, it's worn away. The top of the hole that you're looking at right now, you see is darker, and that's the unworn side. So if you were to find the center between the top and the bottom of that hole, it'd be slightly lower than the original center of the hole, of the round hole. And if I put a drill or a reamer in there, it's going to go to the center of the distance between the top of the hole and the bottom of the hole as it now exists, which will make the new round hole slightly lower than the old hole. That's why we take a file. We file out the unworn half of the hole as much as the worn half is worn. That way, if we put a drill in, it'll find the original center, and we maintain the integrity of the distance between the pivots of the gears, and they will run okay. You got to maintain the centers. There you can clearly see what happens when a hole wears. Time to seal up the inside of the ace on this with a little linseed oil, and just brush this on all of the wood inside. Get rid of any stink from mildew smell that happens with old cuckoo clock cases. I'll just coat this. And this is going to feed and seal the wood. Make it less likely to create dust that will get into the movement. Excess off. Let that dry for a day or two, and that will be much better condition. Will prevent the case from cracking. Alrighty, set it aside. Okay, I've laid out what I need now for bushing the time side or run side, and I'm going to need 4 bushings. I need the back on the chain wheel. I need both sides of the second wheel, and I need the back on the escape wheel, front on the escape wheel. So let's do that front bush on the escape wheel first. That's such a nasty one. Let me reiterate. If you look at that bushing, you can see how worn it is. Maybe from this side better. See how oval that is. Now I got a file to the top of that, even out the wear. This is pushed down into that corner. So I'll take my pattern file. I'm going to file the unworn side of that. It's going to take quite a bit because it's pretty badly worn. Okay, that does it. Okay, now with that one filed out, you can see that now. That hole. Yeah, maybe I think I'll start with a smaller one just to make it easier to. We're just going to take that and we're going to put it in here. Find the center. Cuts through. And reuse the reamer. Done. Okay. Now we'll chamfer that. Take the burr off. And then we're going to press in a bushing. I'm going to do that on the edge of the thing. And that's got to have one of these bushings. It has some OT, 3 millimeters, an idea of 1 millimeter. Bore is 1 millimeter. And that is going to go on here. Oops. That's why I usually use the forceps to put them down. I can hold them better. Okay. There's a little punch. Okay, now all of my bushings are 1.5 millimeters in thickness, and the plates on these movements are only 1 millimeter, so that makes, when you put the bushing in, it makes the bushing stand proud of the plate. So I'm gonna grind that off on the front with a little burr. Takes it down fairly good. That leaves just a tiny little edge up. So then what I do is take a fine file. Yeah, there's what we have right now. I gotta take that edge off. And that edge off. Okay, so that's what it looks like after a file a little bit. And then I can take a little polishing board. I don't know if this one will fit or not. that afterwards. It's flush. And I can finish it a little better than that in a little while. We're going to go ahead and broach this now. It's got to get broached too. What the heck am I doing? Oh, that's not the one. I want the escape wheel. And that's front, which is this side. And it's going to go in there. Okay, so I need to take my cutting broach. Put it in my pin vise. And start cutting. Cut from both sides. Okay, it goes in. Looking good. Okay. Now what I want to do is take my smoothing broach, fit. I need just a little bit of oil. Smoothing broach in, and we're going to rotate it as well as go in a circle with the, we just want to smooth that very nicely. Work hard on the inside and smooth. Go from both sides of the bushing. Smooth, 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 smooth. Okay. Now let's see how that looks. Okay, that's looking good. Alright, now what I want to do is I want to just check that. That was the worst worn part, and it's my bet. I would bind up when I was trying to run it before. What am I doing? It's got to go this way. Put in the main wheel. We'll put all this back together just to see if it runs any smoother than what it was before. Back plate. Go. Ah, just knocked it all out. Let's start all over. Not been a good morning this morning. A lot of pain this morning. Okay. Now what I want to check for is how smoothly the gears mesh. Make sure we have any shake. All that kind of stuff. So, oh man, what a difference. Now you remember how that wound up before. That's what that one bushing fixed now, where it used to get snagged down on the bottom. I mean, that's running super now. Because there's nowhere in that bushing anymore. Run super. Okay. It'll run even better when I get these others put in. That's just as smooth as silk. What a difference just that one bushing can make. Is that the escape gear was just snagging inside there. Seems to be running okay now. Okay, and we'll do the second wheel next. But I gotta get ready to go pick up my granddaughter. Okay, that's looking really nice. It runs very nicely. I'll just rebush those other two, really make those in good shape. I take the back off again. And let's see what right down here. Our middle one, that's going to be both 1 millimeter. So I'll take both of these out. Okay, so here are the bushings of 1 millimeter bore. It's a 3 millimeter diameter, outside diameter, and I think we were okay on that. So let's take our, let's set that aside. Now what to know, there it is. And we'll take this, we're gonna do, you see that the original side of the wear, the original side is here, the worn side is here, so we've got to file that out a bit. Okay, it's not going to take much. The other one, same thing. Okay, let's take a look. It's looking good. Okay, pre-drill those with a smaller reamer. It's a little easier to work with that way. This is 2.97. Oops. Okay, now we put the bushings in. Better chamfer that first. Okay, Bozo, what'd you do with your chamfering tool? Oh, it hit under the rug there. choking on a cookie crumb. So I had some chocolate chip cookies. Okay. Come on. It doesn't want to cooperate. There we go. I'll put it over a hole. Okay, nice and smooth. This one can get a little trickier. Take our file. Okay, that's cleaned up. Take the most polishing stick. Alrighty, now we need to broach. And this is going to be the front side that goes in there. And it's not going to take much at all. Okay, we get the smooth broach in here. Need to replace it and put the cutting broach in. Okay. Just try to keep it fairly square both directions. Let's see how that goes. That should be good. That should do it. That should do it. Okay, just hit it from the front. Okay. Okay, that does it. Okay. Backside. Whoa. Why does that feel so tight? Okay. Very close. Okay. Now we need to take a chamfer to that, take the burrs off one side. Okay. Now we need to take our smoothing broach. Just a little bit of oil. Alright, now, again, what we'll do is we'll put everything back in. We want to make sure we have smooth operation. And end shake, and nothing interfering with anything else. That's going to be the run side. Get the back plate on again. Okay, put a couple of nuts on. Can't hang on to them today. Okay. 1, 2. All right, let's see what we got. Ooh, boy, is that smooth. That's nice, no wobbling around in there at all. Goes to a nice stop now. Still running. Okay, so if I take good end shake, we still got this one to do. But man, that is what I call really cool. It's just going to run better than when it was new. Alright, very good. You know what? I think that main wheel, there's a little bit of play on the back. I think I'm going to go ahead and do both of the main, the chain wheel too. Okay, bushings are done on the run side. Things nice and smooth, running very well. Okay, now we'll put the gears in for the strike side. Let's see, okay, we get the strike side gears in here now. And there's no question about being a lot of wear. This is the one that has the gathering pellet on it. And the first gear chain wheel. Yeah, so those two need to be done. Yeah. There's the one with the lift for the, the star wheel. Just let's say that's definitely got some major movement in it. Second wheel got to be replaced. Third, no. And fan, so you got 4 to do. We'll get those done. Here's another clue too. If you can't see that something is worn on the by moving the gears on the outside, put the gear in its hole and look and see how much it moves. See, this way is not as bad as this way. It shouldn't move more than about 5 degrees. Okay, and if we look at that, you can see that hole. That's how oval it is. Okay. Same with the second wheel. Let's stick that in the air. Well, this can't even move much because it drags, but it's worn terribly. Okay, so we're gonna push those. Okay, we gotta get this here. That's pretty close. It's gonna take just very little in the way of broaching. So a cutting broach in here, and we're just going to cut ever so little to the other side, ever so little. I think that should be all it should take. Yep, that's it. A little bit that way. Okay, let's take a look now. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and chamfer or deburr that. I'll put a oil sink on the other side. And then we need to smooth broach. Can't hang on to anything this morning. This polymyalgia is driving me crazy. Mornings are horrible. I can't make my hands work. All right. Okay, let's see what she looks like. All right. Looking good. Okay, let's put some things back in here now. And test out. Let's see how this runs. I don't know if we need any on the other side or not. Let's check it. Okay, I think I have one more I'll have to do on that side. Yeah, the second wheel's going to have to be done, but let's see what we got now. Okay, put a couple of nuts on there. Alrighty. That's looking good. Okay. It's going to run this way. Run where that gathering pallet goes now. You don't see any movement on that. That's this one here that was flopping back and forth so bad. Okay, so that's looking good. Let's stand up. But watch this pivot right here where the black mark is. You see that flopping back and forth. Okay, we replace that one, and then we are, when that one's replaced, we're ready to go. I have everything done, so I'll go ahead and bush that one. I don't know how this will pick up in the camera here. This is the one we want to bush right here. One with that black mark. And let's look and see. I don't know if I can actually see. You see where I made the black mark? You should be able to see there's less wear on that side than on the other side. The worn side is opposite the black mark. So I've got to file that out so that the wear is even. So I'll put this file in there. Tiny bit more. Okay, that looks good. Alright, now let's check, see what the size gotta be on that. Looks like about 1.2 millimeters. So where's our 125s? Here we are. That's going to go 3 millimeters. Let me make sure that we're not going to get too close to an edge there. We'll be okay. So we got to go with a 3 bore or a 3 outside diameter, which is what this is. But I'm going to pre-cut it with a little smaller one. That's a 3.5. I don't want the 3.5, I want the 3. Okay, so here's 297. Okay. Put that back in there because it's the last one we're going to need. Okay. Take the burr off of that. And 125. I think we already had one on. No, we didn't. Yes, we did. Here it is. 125. Nice and smooth. Okay, let's dress that. I could order bushings that are only a millimeter thick, but I just don't do that many clocks that I need to have it kind of an inventory. What I'll do is I'll cut that close to flat. Okay, super fine paper. Take some sticks. I need to broach that. And that should be close. That's number 2. Okay, we got a brooch. Over here. That's got it. Get a smooth brooch. There. Yeah. See how it goes now. Okay. All right. Let's put everything back in here. See how it operates now. The heck. Okay, put this in. Put our main wheel in. Okay, back plate on. Okay. Put that on. Another one on. Keep this tight. Come on. Fingers don't want to work. Okay, runs this way. Ooh, nice. Okay, let's check all of the handshake. Handshake, handshake, nice. Handshake, nice. Handshake, nice. Okay. Everything is back in play. Put everything away. Our bushing is done. And we will now start to clean this up, polish everything up, and put everything back together. Take the each pivot hole, we need to clean them out. All we do to clean them out is use a toothpick, rotate them in each hole, front and back. And gives you some idea of what's left in those pivot holes. And take a knife and I scrape off the gunk that's collected. There we go. Again. Here, there's no wood dust left. Okay, and then we'll start putting this back together. Bracket on the inside. Just make sure that we don't have anything left in here. Okay. Okay, and we need a bunny clip on there. Okay. Let me see what we got here. Right. This is going to be the front, back. Okay, so this goes here. Okay. And second wheel is going to go here. Yeah. Gotta get him out first. Okay. There we go. And then our warning wheel. Warning wheel is going to go next. And then we have a little fan. Okay. On the other side we've got, okay, I'm going to stop this. Okay. Continuing, we've got a second wheel here. This one's going to go here. And the second wheel goes in here. And then the escape wheel goes in here. Missed. There we go. Okay. The other thing that has to go between the plates is going to be this. The anchor. Okay, and I cleaned that up. I'll take a quick check here. Make sure we don't have any problems. Okay, now let's see about getting this going here. Alrighty. Ah, you dickens. Wheel came out on the other side. There we go. Our little buddy just fell out of there. Okay. Here's him back in. Okay. And that does the strike side. Tighten these down. Everything is back together. And before we start putting the levers on the front, this is the time to oil the front so it's easier to get to the pivots. So get some oil in here. Just get a little tiny drop of oil on here, and you put them right on the pivot. Oh, and that draws it in. back now.
No,
Hey,
they won.
they did.
They lost to Marengo all season long. You know, played the 2 games against Marengo during the season and lost. Yeah, 53-38. It was a good game, but boy, was it rough.
Rough. Well,
Boy, they just spent a lot of time on the floor.
pretty physical, huh?
Yes, but not nasty or anything. You know, it wasn't icky.
Yeah, that's good.
It wasn't cheap shots and stuff. It was all, they really played well.
And that was the first regional game then, huh?
Yes.
Well, good for
But
them,
they
at
really
least.
didn't have,
Yeah.
they really didn't have height on us or anything. You know, they were pretty
Yeah.
evenly matched guys.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, good for the kids.
Yeah.
Good for the kids.
They did. Okay. Do you want a sandwich or something?
No, I, what did I eat before?
I hope they write it up in the Chronicle. Probably won't.
Yeah, I hope so,
So now
too.
Friday we play Woodstock North.
Okay.
And that'll be the regional title. So they must have won tonight. In order for them to know that, they must have won wherever they played tonight. So anyway.
Yeah. Good for the kids. Good for the kids. Okay. Alright, this one is going to go here. This one is going to go here. Ah, come on. There we go. Yep. Nice try. Missed the slot. There we go. Oh, it's got to get in the slot. Okay. There we go, like so. And we got to get this one. Goes on top. This way. Okay, yesterday I cleaned up, these tops weren't connected. I cleaned these up and they don't appear. Oh, I don't know. That one's got a hole in it. I'm going to have to replace the leather on that. Oh well. Yeah, we'll replace it. And it is pretty rotten too, so there was a tiny hole in the corner. And you can see how easily that's just tearing, so it's a good idea we completely replace this. So we'll remove all of this stuff. Yeah, it's coming right off. It's kind of oil soaked anyway, from probably caused a lot of the rotting. Whoever sprayed this thing with oil didn't do it any favors. So we will clean the stuff off of here. Clean it real good. Now, take it off of here too. We're actually going to take the whole thing off. See, there's a hole in the belt in the back here anyway. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a hole there. And anyway, I'm going to clean them all up. Okay, some acetone. I don't know if you can see that or not. Acetone, basically the basic ingredient of fingernail polish remover. And you know how that stuff can dry up your cuticles. Okay, anyway, a little steel wool and acetone. Get any residues off of there. Remove the oils so that new glue will stick. Anyway, that's what we got to do. Clean them up. Might be easier just to go buy new ones, but hate to do that if I don't have to. Alright, first thing I do is just glue a strip on the back. So we're using watered down wood glue, and that'll serve as a hinge. Same thing here. And just keep it still, and we'll keep them, let them dry for about an hour, and then we'll come back and do the rest. Okay. Now let's see what the problem is. The bird is broken. Bird mount is completely broken. Okay. That's why it won't go on. This whole thing here is broken. Well, let's see. Don't know if I have a new bird or not. I'll have to look. Test running without bellows. Had to wire one of the levers up because it was causing it to jam without the bellow being in there. There's what the movement looks like now compared to what it did when it arrived. And I think this one is long enough. How that compares to this other one. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, and now we're just gonna make sure we get all these wires out of the way. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, we got, let's pull the cuckoo. Okay, so that one's not being lifted. So that's got to what, come down. No, it's got to go up. Let's see what that does now. Okay, that's better. Let's run this around again. That's half hour. There's the hour. It looks good. Okay. Hang it up. current time. We'll let her run for a while.